At a restaurant in Paris, Abby tells Lily her photos were perfect, so they're all finished. In his hotel room, Kane tells Devon by phone he's been unable to connect with Lily. After, Kane runs into Abby in the corridor. They step into his room after she says Lily decided to leave. Kane calls Lily, but she cuts out. Kane rushes out to the airport. Meanwhile, Abby exits Kane's room and is stunned to see Scott, who wants to talk. Abby declares if they're going to do this, she needs more champagne. In the Parisian restaurant, Scott and Abby rehash what happened between them. He reveals he tried to avoid working at Newman for her sake, but Victoria said no, so he quit. Scott shrugs that the TV station is still interested in him. Abby has a better idea. She phones Victor, then informs Scott her father will sell him and let him pay overtime. Abby wants him to relocate the company. Scott quips, "I've always loved London." They'll miss each other. Scott reveals he will go undercover to investigate jewel thieves in London and Paris. They joke Abby would be perfect on his arm, but then share an awkward goodbye. More, Thad Luckinbill produces, stars in new film. At the airport in Paris, a breathless Kane finds Lily and pleads with her to stay. If she gets on the plane they'll both regret it. Lily Kane kiss Paris Jacobson Kane's sweet. Lily is still stressed, but Kane thinks it's simple if they want each other. He goes over his regrets and feels they have a chance to fix everything he broke. Lily warns they'd have to reconstruct their family. Kane believes Lily is the strong foundation. Lily snarks, "Right. Put it all on me." Kane begins apologizing again, but Lily decides the time for talking is done. She pulls him into a passionate kiss. At Jabot, Michael relays to Jack there's enough evidence to prove Graham's marriage to Dinah is invalid and revoke his medical power of attorney. Jack's frustrated they must wait 2 days before a hearing. Michael's optimistic. Elsewhere, Paul updates Ashley that a bag of chemicals found in the trash at Chancellor Park had Jabot labels. They need to figure out which ones were kept, which is key to finding the culprit. Ashley narrows it down, but it only leaves them more puzzled as it's a compound used to make fragrance. More, Catherine Bach teases return as Anita. In their club suite, Dinah gets upset when Gran puts a ring on her finger and mentions they're married. She protests that John Abbott is her husband. Gran informs her John's dead, and adds, "Get used to it. I'm all you have now, Dinah." Dinah sneaks to the phone, calls Jack, and pleads with him to assure her that John's all right. Gran hangs up the phone. He says he promised to take care of her the rest of her life, and never breaks promises. At Crimson Lights, Sharon spots Tessa sitting with Noah, who steps away to take a call. Sharon tells Tessa she invited her to the party in hopes she and Mariah would get their friendship back on track. Tessa Devon hit your CBS. Devon interrupts and informs Tessa it's time for her to step her game up and earn the big break he's given her. She wonders if he's thinking about dropping her. Devon's honest, she needs another hit. Later, Noah's frustrated as Tessa scrambles to write a hit and remarks on the tension between her and Mariah. Mariah has a terse word with Tessa before going to journal on the patio. Tessa marvels, "You write?" Later, when Mariah steps into the back with Sharon and Noah, Tessa steals her journal. More, Hallmark's Very, Very Valentine. Jack arrives at Dinah's club suite and intimidates Gran to get in. Dinah's thrilled and relieved to see John. Graham hisses, "That's not John, that's Jack, your son." Jack pulls him aside to warn Graham not to contradict her when she's confused, and informs him it's all over in 2 days. Game over. At the door, Graham warns Jack he won't give up. Jack hopes he saved his pennies, he's going to need them. More, JT and Victoria Pole. Back at Jabot, Ash and Jack discuss the missing compound. If it were drank or injected it could kill someone. Ash recalls Graham had a syringe. They rush out. Graham's syringe Jacobs in the club suite. Graham urges Dinah to lie down and take a nice, long rest. Graham kneels beside her with the syringe and talks about a quick, Painless end. Dinah awakens, they struggle, and the syringe ends up stuck in Graham's arm.